All right, Nick, we're talking Miami Dolphins again. This is a team that has made a ton of headlines this offseason, whether it's Tyreek Hill saying crazy stuff about him and Tua's relationship, whether it's, the roller coaster of Tua not having arm strength, then being more accurate than Mahomes, and now slinging dimes to Tyreek in practice for like 70, 80-yard touchdowns, or if it's Mike McDaniels. There's all kinds of Dolphin news around the atmosphere in the NFL, and I love it because that means the season is starting up and football is back. But that's not the only thing that's back. College football is also right around the corner. A couple weeks from now, and college football will be back on the menu. And I want Miami fans to let us know in the comments below, who is your favorite college team? Is it all about the U? I love the U. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, big proponents of the U. Uh, is there other Florida teams? Is FSU, Southern Florida? There's all kinds of Florida teams out there. Is it the Gators? Let us know in the comments below. Who is your favorite college team? We are dying to know. But Nick, what's the latest on Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, so kind of an interesting story about Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel here. This is according to the Miami Herald. This is and McDaniel brought this up talking about Tyreek Hill. He's very accountable. He's one of the first players I can show in team meetings and say this isn't to our standard or this isn't right. When I do that, I get a show of him correcting the mistake. He helped me set the tone with the players. I can say this isn't good enough or this is awesome. He does that with his assignments. He's the guy I can be hard on with his route depths and blocking. And every time he puts it on tape, he shows that he not only heard the coaching point, but it's important enough for him to fix it immediately. Now, obviously, at first glance, Miles, this sort of sounds like, well, duh, right? If a coach tells you to do something, you do it. But the reality is, if you look at the dichotomy here with the Miami Dolphins, you have Mike McDaniel was a new coach. He doesn't have a lot of credibility in the NFL yet. Obviously, he had success with the 49ers as the offensive coordinator. But there's a lot of belief that a lot of that may have been Kyle Shanahan, at least in the locker room. I'm sure that's kind of the back of a lot of people's minds. We saw this with former Patriot assistant coaches that went on to go take head jobs. They struggled to win the locker room. They struggled to get buy-in from the players. But the fact that Tyreek Hill listens to McDaniel right away and is supporting and acting on the corrective actions that McDaniel kind of gives him in the film room and during practice gives McDaniel credibility because Tyreek Hill is the most, the legitimate number one most established superstar on that roster. I know Xavier Howard's great at corner. I know Byron Jones is good as well. I know Jalen Waddle had a nice rookie year and Tua's the quarterback and all of that. And obviously they signed Terran Armstead. He's a good player too. But the fact of the matter is the most public star-powered name on that roster right now is Tyreek Hill. And the fact that Hill is open and actively, following the coaching and is coachable with McDaniel gives McDaniel credibility, and that'll trickle down throughout the rest of the roster. And that's a really good sign for the Dolphins and really Mike McDaniel as a start as a tenure as head coach. What do you think of all this?
Well, I like Hill in Miami because he seems to me to be a new guy. You kind of don't really hear a ton about it. There's some murmurs that maybe he wasn't as happy in Kansas City, but you hear what he happens in Miami and what are things that he's been doing. He gasses up Tua.
Yeah.
He gasses up Mike McDaniels, saying how great those guys are. Another article I read is him gassing up Xavier Howard, saying he hates going up against Howard in practice. Toughest corner he's ever gone up against, yada, yada, the whole nine. But Hill seems to be like a really good teammate. And that was one of the things that people have been saying, is he just the guy that wants to go run that deep ball? He wants it to be all about him. Is he going to be another diva? But no, he seems coachable. He seems like a really good locker room guy so far. He seems to be checking all of the boxes and really kind of, being the ideal teammate and the ideal player for a coach so far in this Dolphins organization. And I'm really excited to see. I know they are practicing joint practice with the Buccaneers here recently. And, that was a big indicator of how things are going to go against another team. But so far in their own practices, Hill seems to be really a great addition for Miami. They hit the nail on the head with this one.
Yeah, he's tearing up training camp, no doubt. But I think there's an interesting kind of relationship dynamic between McDaniel and Hill because both are kind of facing the same paradigm. And here's what I mean by that. is that I talked about it earlier that McDaniel is kind of coming out of the Kyle Shanahan shadow. And obviously there's a lot of people when you look at that 49er offense and say, oh, it's just Shanahan's offense. I mean, he runs the plays, he calls the plays, he structures the offense, he schemes everything. So McDaniel really is just kind of riding Shanahan's coattails. How good can he be? And McDaniel wants to come here and prove that he's a good coach and good football mind. Right? That's his mindset. Tyreek Hill is the same way. Right, coming from Kansas City, obviously under Andy Reid, playing with Pat Mahomes, he's trying to prove everybody, hey, it wasn't Andy Reid's offense. It wasn't Pat Mahomes being a great quarterback. It just wasn't a perfect situation. I'm a great player. I'm the same all-pro superstar player. And that's why McDaniel and Hill, I think, are seeing eye to eye in a lot of these things because they're both trying to prove that where they were before wasn't the reason for their success. It's the fact they're actually good at their jobs is the reason for their success. And I think those motivating factors, that kind of drives and will drive those two men and both its team as they move forward and make a big step this year in the AFC East.
Yeah, I'm expecting big things for Miami this season. I just think overall, this is going to be a really fun team to watch. It
Oh,
reminds
yeah.
me of you roll it back to what I would say, Nick. I'll ask you in recent memory and I'll tell you mine first. What was the most exciting game that you've seen in a long time? And I know we talked about it when it happened, but for me, it was that first battle between Jared Goff and Patrick
Pat
Mahomes, the
Mahomes.
Rams versus the Chiefs. I feel like Miami is gonna have a lot of games like that this year. They seem like a really, really big offensive powerhouse, and I'm really excited to watch them play because this offense that McDaniels is running seems very complimentary of Hill. Obviously, they have Waddle and Tua. They just have a lot of weapons, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen this season. All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.